This is part 2 of working through the messy middle of an abstract painting. So if you didn't see part 1, you want to look in the description below and you can click on that lesson. Watch that first. So I am picking up here where we left off with the last video, and I'm going to continue working on this painting to bring it to a place where it's almost finished. So let's jump right in. So I'm starting off by adding this light peach color because I'm feeling like we need to add a little bit more warmth and contrast to this painting. So I'm just making kind of abstract petal marks with a dry brush kind of mark here. Now I flipped it because it really helps me to see where to put these marks when I'm looking at it in a different angle. And I like to kind of do things, you know, in ways that feel a little bit surprising. And because I'm thinking about these as flowers, if I put it upside down, I don't get as sort of rigid about what flowers should look like and where they should be. I love how this peach looks against that beautiful light turquoise color. And here I'm just scumbling some in just to get some variety of marks in this spot. And now I'm adding a lighter version of the peach, so I just add a little bit of white to it so we can create a little bit of contrast, a little bit of value difference to create a sense of highlights and some visual interest down there. Now I'm getting the bubble wrap and I'm just adding a bit more dark in this area. And this is the part in the painting where I start to add things and then remove them right afterwards. And I like to talk about that because sometimes we add things that we don't like and it's totally okay. We just get a wet rag and we wipe it right out. And sometimes you'll see like a little lingering color left behind, but it's nothing to worry about. Just add and remove. You can see I'm just getting it all out there. I didn't like that mark at all, so it's totally fine. So again, I just added and then I removed it immediately. Adding a little bit more of that light sort of periwinkle lavender color just to bring a bit more up in the sky area. And here I've got a much lighter version of it to just give a little sense of clouds there because this has become an abstract landscape floral scene to me. So I just want to hint at some clouds up here and add a little bit of blue. Here I'm thinking that I want to add a little bit more of that sort of red-violet color and quickly realizing it's way too intense. I like how it looks when it's sort of subtly in the background there, and I decided to just leave that alone and let it be way back in the background there. And here I'm adding, this is Jacon's green with a bit of black, and so I really want to pop those peach details. So adding some of this dark helps to pop them and also just creates a little bit more contrast as well. I feel like the painting at this point is a little bit too light, and so adding this dark gives us that nice, you know, place for the eye to go to first and this nice visual contrast. Notice I'm using a lot of palette knife. I really like to use the palette knife because it really keeps you from controlling your marks too much. And this painting has a lot of texture, so when I use the palette knife, I pick up on the high points of the texture, and it just creates a really cool effect. And so here I realized that green was too much, so I just wipe it right back out again. And here I'm actually blotting it out, but I'm rubbing it in a little bit. So not removing it all the way, like letting it sort of mix a little bit into the bottom part. It's so subtle when you're at the end of a painting like this. Now let me tell you why I added this blue mountainy type thing. There was a ridge in right there where I'm painting it, because this in one of its life forms was an abstract landscape, and I had a really distinct line at the top of that blue mark there that it was just bothering me. And I just thought, I just need to let it be a mountain again. I need to bring it back in. And after I do this, I realized that this really helps to bring it to a place of feeling more finished. And it is a bold move to throw this thing in here. But here's the deal. If I hate it, I just go back over it with that beautiful yellow-green color. But I do end up liking this a lot, and I love this sort of neutralized light blue color. So I'm just trying to bring this in to have it make sense, not wanting to go too far with this mountain form, because I like the idea that it's in the background and those flowery type things are in front. And so I don't want to bring it all the way across the canvas. It would just feel a little bit too overt, a little too obvious, right? And I'm just trying to sort of dab in the light blue so that it feels natural. It's not like, because it's kind of a harsh line there, so I'm just trying to sort of fade it into the scene a little bit more. I like to say layers, layers, and more layers. Like, when this is finished, I really feel like it's going to have so much life to it because we have so many different layers going on. And now bringing that lavender color back on top of it. So now even though it's not totally dry yet, it's dry enough. And so kind of trying to reduce the size of that blue hill and have some things in front. So we have some different layers. And so I'm flipping it here just to see if it's balanced. And here we have where I left it. Now it's still really busy, but once I bring that yellow green up over some of the blue and the purple, and we kind of create this bigger sky of yellow green, I think it's going to look really great. So we're not quite there. And check back, because I might just have part 3 here at the end that you can look and see what the very final steps in this painting are. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like this. It does so much for the algorithm. Appreciate it so much. You take care. Now, if you love this lesson, I bet you would love these too. So click on whichever one is of more interest and keep the learning going.